If a team wins 13 games during the regular season, yet doesn't advance past their first round of the playoffs, did they really make a difference? Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. And welcome to another edition of John Amo's Archives. Today, we want to exclusively focus on mostly gangrene Philadelphia Birds, a little bit about the NFC East. As we all know, all of our squads have had preseason games now, so we all have a little bit of a feeling of what we can expect so far for the regular season, barring no injuries, of course. And barring no injuries, of course, I'm going to go out there and say it, the Philadelphia Eagles are now the odds-on favorite to win the NFC East this year. I don't need to fly under the radar. I'll go out there and boldly predict this, no problem. 11 or 12 wins. Donovan McNabb is by far, bar none, the best quarterback in the NFC East. 13-10, 1 touchdown. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. He's a 5-time Pro Bowler. I'm so excited, and it just took that first game for me to see. I needed to see this with my own eyes. What does Donovan McNabb look like? And he looked like he did in 2003 before he got injured, to be honest with you. And, you know, there's obviously, you know, 2 other pretty good quarterbacks in the NFC, but, I mean, you know, you're talking about a guy who has led his team to the NFC Championship on 4 different occasions, actually 3 because he was injured 1 year, and, you know, 5-time Pro Bowler, 13 out of 10. I was so excited to have Donovan McNabb back. You know, I realize HBO can go to Dallas, and you know, I know the popcorn show and the movie theater and the circus and Barnum and Bailey's and the elephants and the clowns and the Pac-Mans. You know, they can all do their thing. They can all have their little Barnum and Bailey circus. But in Philadelphia, right now, we're concentrating on football, and I love it. So, you know, we didn't win the game, but that doesn't mean anything in preseason. The first and second teams looked awesome. The defense let up a touchdown early on, but then they shut them down basically, you know, the rest of the time that the first team was in there. Again, Donovan was 13 for 10. He looked fleet-footed. He looked awesome. Led the team on 2 separate drives for the first 10 points of the game. Deshaun Jackson looked awesome. So Reggie Brown didn't play. You know, come to think of it, I didn't see Kevin Curtis either now that I think about it. Maybe they both didn't play. But if Kevin Curtis played, he didn't do much of anything. But I know Deshaun Jackson, 5 catches, 51 yards. You know, we don't have a number 1 receiver, that's obvious. But with Deshaun Jackson, Reggie Brown, Kevin Curtis, and Brian Westbrook, the best catching halfback out of the backfield, we have I think, most weapons in the NFC East on all teams. Our depth for the number 2 receiver positions added with Brian Westbrook, if this kid Deshaun Jackson can step up, we should be pretty spread out. You know, don't get me wrong, I'd still love a number 1 wide receiver, but right now it doesn't look like that's going to happen, so we got to make do with what we got. Remember, this is a team that had way less and took us all the way to the NFC Championship or even to the Super Bowl. You got to think the years we had Todd Pinkston, James Thrash. You know, we didn't have Brian Westbrook in the backfield. You know, we had Deuce Staley. He's no Brian Westbrook. He was pretty good. So back to the game. Saw a lot of other good things I liked. Quentin McHale. I've been calling him Quentin McHale for 3 years now. Maybe I've been wrong about that, but you know, this guy stepped up to the strong safety role, subbing in for Michael Lewis and then Sean Constantine, of course. I never wanted to let Michael Lewis go in the first place, but unfortunately we did. Constantine didn't have quite the intensity that we needed, so this guy made some big hits. McHale or Michael, leave some comments, tell me how to pronounce his name right. But this guy, this number 27, this kid had some big hits. I'm looking forward to him taking over that role. He was actually Brian Dawkins' backup, I thought, at free safety, and they moved him over. But nevertheless, he had at least three big hits that I saw. Omar Geither in the middle had a big hit. Stuart Bradley on the weak side had a big hit. So everybody who needed to step up, who I was a little bit concerned about, they stepped up, man. You know, the players who we're not too sure about. In other words, is Deshaun Jackson going to be, this explosive weapon out of the backfield, punt returning machine that we think he is? Can our linebackers hold up like our defensive coordinator and Andy Reid thinks they can? And from what I saw in this game, and you have to take into consideration we're playing a playoff team in the Pittsburgh Steelers, so I saw a lot of good things that I liked. Let me bust out my notes, see if there's anything else. Chris Clemens had a big sack in the second quarter. So, another person who we wanted to see if he had anything step up, he stepped up. Lorenzo Booker, he had a couple good run backs and a couple good runs. So, he's going to be a good complement to Correll Buckholter and Brian Westbrook. So, I'm going to go out there and predict the Eagles right now are going to win 11, 12 games this season. Donovan McNabb is back. There's no reason why we shouldn't. He's so confident right now. Tony Romo, he doesn't show up the second half of the season. He doesn't show up in the playoff games. Not to say that he's a bad quarterback. Not to say that he doesn't have a bright future. But I believe, and I'm saying this with the utmost sincerity, not because I'm an Eagles fan, but I believe this year is going to be McNabb's year. Romo's got a bright future. He obviously threw 36 touchdowns, but until he proves that he could do it in the big games, I don't see that happening. And sticking to Dallas really quick, the only reason why the T.O. situation has been so smooth is because they've been winning so many games. I just want to see this year, when I think the Cowboys are going to actually fall pretty hard, I want to see how T.O. composes himself if he can hold it together. I watched, that being said, the New York Giants preseason game. Looks like they got a pretty good replacement in this guy, Boss. I kept seeing this guy, number 89, I think. Tight end, he's all over the place, man, this guy, Boss. I didn't see the Dallas game. I saw the Redskins game. So I'm saying Eagles. I'll say Eagles 12-4. Cowboys 9-7. Giants 7-9. That's it. No, I'm not gonna play you guys like that. I'll at least give you the honor of a rating. 5-11 Redskins. John Amel Archives. The word of the birds are saying that the NFC East is gonna be back in the nation's birds' clutches, the Philadelphia Eagles in 2008. So says the best quarterback in the NFC East. So says the 5-time Pro Bowler Donovan McNabb. This is John Amel, the Archives, and I'm not going to sleep under the I'm not going to sleep under the radar. I'm not going quietly. Eagles NFC East champions 2008. And no, I'm not just satisfied with the NFC East championship. Yes, we're going to go to the Super Bowl this year. I truly believe that in a weakened NFC. Ammo Archives.